Inside the Chamber is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Naperville Bank and Trust.
Hello, I'm Kaylin Risvold, President and CEO of the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to Inside the Chamber. Today, I'm joined by Amanda Kunzer, Director of Operations at Good Therapy Counseling. Amanda is also the chair of our Women in Business Committee, so welcome and thank you for joining me, Amanda.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
And today's topic is, in fact, women in business. I want to talk about I've seen some articles out there and some statistics about how the pandemic is affecting women in business. And I want to see what you're hearing through the committee and through your job.
Well, we are definitely seeing a decline of women in the workforce due to, yes, COVID-19. It is sad. It's concerning because we've come quite a way. Women make up, over half the workforce. So it is a concern, and women are pulling out and staying home more to deal with the family responsibilities.
Yeah, and do you think part of that is because, we know women make 77 cents of the dollar for every man makes? If you're sitting and looking at who's helping with e-learning, does it make sense to have someone who's making, in theory, the man may be making more money than the woman in a certain relationship?
It's interesting you say that, because the culture around the world is that if there is a job opening or if someone should go to work, the man is expected to go and get that job over the woman. And I think that, especially with the e-learning, we're really struggling, women, because we are doing most of the e-learning. We are doing the caring for the house, the women, family dynamics are the woman takes care of the ailing parents, the kids, cleaning, cooking, and the fire was already under the woman to keep the house afloat, and now they're burning, literally. So
yeah, I was reading a Harvard Business Review article, and it said their analysis shows that women's jobs are 1.8 times more vulnerable to this crisis than men's jobs. Women make up 39% of global employment, but 54% of overall job losses in May of 2020. So that's so interesting to me, to have the global numbers of nearly 40% of women in the workforce, but almost 60% of them have lost their job as of May of this year. And I wonder, and I don't know if if that's a combination of choice or necessity of losing or leaving your job.
It's hard to say for sure. Obviously, the COVID is but I think that a lot of those responsibilities just happen to fall on moms with kids, especially. And the concern is when we lose moms out of, or women out of the workforce, they bring a really special, diverse set of skills, right? And a culture and ideas. And we lose that when they pull out of the workforce and stay. Ideally, they have to do what's best for their families, but we're losing such a dynamic set of skills with women pulling out of the workforce.
What can women or what can employers do to help try to get these statistics to at least slow down?
Well, here's the thing. There has to be a change, right? As far as the flexibility and with this unpaid childcare, there needs to be some flexibility as far as saying, okay, you know what, if you have to take care of your kids, you need to work from home, that's what you need to do. There also needs to be the technology inclusion, right? There needs to be some understanding, or even, being flexible. Some moms have to share their computers with kids for e-learning. And so they don't even have those tools. So really being flexible with that and saying, okay, what do we need to do to make it so you are productive and you can do your job at home? So Yeah, those kind of things would be very helpful, and bringing women back in, because I think right now they're feeling like they're losing, and it's not even obtainable. I think also employers can really reach out to women and say, hey, we have these job openings, we really want you to apply, and target women as far as marketing and promoting, because women do a lot of shopping, for the family, more so than men. So we need to be targeting them.
Yeah, I know here at the chamber, so the entire chamber staff is all women. And myself included, many have children, and I have 2 young kids. And I want to try to model to the chamber what I think other businesses can do, which is exactly what you're talking about, is that flexibility of, hey, if you want to work from home, let's figure out a way we can do that. One thing that I find interesting here at the chamber is originally when we came back into the office, we did one of those block schedules. Amanda, you're in Monday, Wednesday, I'm in Tuesday, Thursday, etc. And it got to be really tricky with the staff of, my kid is going here or there, I need to help with this timing. And I saw it didn't work, did that evaluation. And then we said, okay, the office is open. You can come when you need to. You can work from home when you need to. Update it in your calendar so we kind of know where you're at. And we've seen more people in the office, and we've seen higher productivity levels because we kind of gave people the choice. We're really focused on that results-oriented work environment. So that people can, I have lunch with my kids some days and breakfast, and I get to do all of that and kind of do my work around that. And I know that's not feasible for every business, but for some businesses it is. So I really want to emulate that flexibility that you're talking about, that I really think could make a difference.
And especially because we are valuable, and I think it's I don't want to say it's an easy thing to kind of work out schedules, but if you have employees that are valuable, you make those accommodations to keep them, because right now, it's hard for everybody, right? And we need to pivot a little bit. And so let's make these accommodations to keep these valuable women in their positions.
Which is something employers know anyway. If someone's looking to leave, it's like, okay, there's a cost to an employee leaving. You have to hire, you have to train, you have to onboard, that institutional knowledge that's really important. So it's costly when an employee leaves. So what can employers do to have, okay, if you want to have flexible hours, if you want to work from home, that's the least of what I can do to keep your talent. Man, women, or anything, just focus on keeping good talent in the workforce.
Give them the tools. That's the other thing, right? So give them the tools. If they need a laptop because they have one laptop at home and they're sharing it with their kids, and the kids need e-learning, like, let's get them a laptop. Obviously I know there's a cost, but it's less costly than the onboarding of a new staff.
And that's one thing I'm hoping is a lesson learned through the pandemic, right? Is grace, giving people just a little bit of grace on timing. And there are days I've taken, a Zoom call while driving, and I just have it on over my car because I'm going from place to place, whether it's a meeting or to take my kids somewhere. I feel like we've all given each other a little bit more grace. And I hope that is something that can keep women who want to stay in the workforce staying in the workforce. I think that's kind of what it's all about. If someone doesn't want to be in the workforce, man or woman, that's fine. But what can we do to remove those barriers so if they want to do it, it's an option?
I totally agree. And it just comes down to we have to execute that. We know it. And so let's remove these barriers and let's do it. And I think the sooner we do that, we can get these women back in the workforce for sure.
Now, as chair of Women in Business Committee, what conversations are you having within the committee about how you can keep women engaged, either within the committee or within the business community?
It's definitely been a challenge with COVID. And again, grace, you need to give grace with everyone. And some people's comfortability is different. Some people have wanted in-person events. Some people have wanted virtual. And so we try and accommodate both. But the main thing is we want that relationship building between the women. We want to hold that door open for women who are trying to get through it, and that's what we're trying to do. And so it was a little difficult with COVID, but the women are saying, we're here, whatever you can do, we want to attend. So we do offer both. We do the in-person virtual event. So if you don't feel like coming out to an event, we have it, virtually or streaming or whatnot. And just, reaching out and hearing, what are you wanting? What are you wanting to hear about, see? And so, yeah, it's been difficult, a definite pivot for what women in business. We do like those fun in-person events with dynamic speakers. And it's been a little bit of a challenge, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, a challenge is something, we can always rise to the occasion and rise to the challenge. But I just want to echo what I'm hearing for you too, is I've scheduled some meetings in the morning and people say, okay, I got to get my kids to school. I schedule them in the afternoon. I'm still helping with e-learning. It's trying to find that sweet spot of what works for everybody. And sometimes the answer is it doesn't work for everybody. And I think that's been tricky.
It definitely is. And here's the deal. If it doesn't work for you at that time or that meeting, then, okay, so how are we going to problem solve that? Okay, so you're going to get the notes, or we're going to talk real quick on the phone, or whatever it is to keep everybody moving. Because again, yes, we need to be a little creative. We need to be giving grace, and this is not going to last forever. And if anything, this does build character, as we know. But again, it's really working, at least since I'm focused on women here, leaning on each other and helping each other out, because we're all in different boats. Some have kids, some don't have kids, some are trying to get their business off the ground, and so they're an entrepreneur, and that is so difficult right now. And so we all need to be helping each other, and again, help each other get through those doors. Big time.
So we're talking about flexibility in the workforce, and it's not just important to be flexible with the moms or the women. It's important to be flexible with all parents in the workforce, because we're all in this pandemic, we're doing something new together. But I want employers to know that it's not just taking care of your women, but taking care of all parents as well.
Exactly. It's so important. And that's one of the things that was really important to me when I took chair for Women in Business, is that I wanted to convey that women in business isn't just for the women wearing power suits and work at Fortune 500 companies. It's the recent college grads, first job, starting out. It's the seasoned worker who just wants to sharpen their skills. It's the moms staying at home and yet trying to launch their business at home. And I wanted it to be clear there is enough room at that table. And I wanted all women to come and feel supported, because we need to do that for each other.
We do. We need to take care of each other and look at good leaders like yourself. Thank you for stepping up into this leadership position to show people part of the solution is talking about the problem and letting people know, hey, are you thinking about the flexibility for the women in your workforce? Are the women in your workforce engaging with each other? And again, just removing those barriers. So I really appreciate your conversation and insight.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Inside the Chamber.
Inside the Chamber is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Naperville Bank and Trust.
Naperville Bank and Trust has the expertise, knowledge, and experience to help you reach your business goals.
They provide all the tools that you would ask that we as a growing business need of a bank. Most importantly, to me, it's a great personal relationship we have with Tom and John and our bankers.
It was the best thing we could have done in banking. And banking can be very cold. What the bank brings to us is that warm feeling when you come into the bank and people say, "Hi, Greg."
It's about being part of the community again, about being a name again, about having credit for who your business is instead of just being a number.
Naperville Bank and Trust. Bring it home.
Wearing my mask is just part of my routine now, just like wearing my seatbelt.
Wearing a mask should be just as routine as brushing your teeth.
Wearing a mask for me has become as routine as that first cup of coffee in the morning.
As routine as checking my email.
I grab my mask every morning just like I grab my car keys.
Wearing a mask has been just as routine as putting on your shoes in the morning.
Wearing a mask has become as routine as going on a daily walk.
Just as routine as having dinner.
Wearing a mask is just as routine as having story time with my kids.
So make it part of your routine. Please mask up, Naperville.
Inside the Chamber is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Naperville Bank and Trust.
Welcome back to Inside the Chamber. We are here with our board spotlight, and I'm joined by Maureen Strobel, who is on her second year of her term on our board of directors. And Maureen, tell us about how you got involved on the Chamber's board of directors.
Yes, good morning. My successor was a gentleman named Howard Fox. He worked for BP, as did I, and he rolled off, he retired, and was asked to find his successor, and knew I was interested in community events and nominated me, and then I went through a vetting process on the BP side, as well as NACC, and have been on for 2 years.
What have you enjoyed the most about being and doing on our board of directors?
Probably two things. One is just getting to know all the great people involved in it. I knew people vaguely, shall we say, at first, but I've much broadened my network and gotten to know people a lot better. And I'm amazed at how much people care about the community and are involved and entwined. And the other is just giving back. I thought I was involved in the community, and then when I've learned about so many other organizations and all the good things going on, I'm like, oh wow, there's far more that one can do if you wish to. So it's been very positive.
You're very active on our board of directors, serving on, the finance committee, the leasing committee, the CEO task force, which, by the way, thank you. So what has been encouraging you to get involved in the different committees, and kind of how have you enjoyed your time doing that?
So numerous things. One, I think that those who have areas of expertise such as finance, that happens to be my career background, should give back in that area. It's an area that I don't have to do a lot of research, right? I feel I can add some value quickly. In other areas like the CEO task force, I've done a lot of corporate hiring and was experienced at that, and thought, again, it was an area that I could help others in succeeding in.
Tell us a little bit more about your background. You mentioned finance. What is your background?
So I'm an accounting and finance professional. I most recently worked for BP, as I mentioned, for 15 years. I was the finance manager for a group called Air BP. Air is an AIR. They sell jet fuel, and we covered the Americas. So I had a team in the Chicago area and a team in Brazil. As I mentioned, came onto the board representing BP. Most recently, I've retired from BP in June, and I'm now an independent on the board.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your board service. And I want to hear a little bit more about you. So tell us about a fun fact or something that most people may not know about you.
I grew up in eastern Iowa on a farm. And sometimes when I tell people that, they're like, well, you don't seem like a farm girl, or I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I can drive a tractor, unlike probably many of my neighborhood and work peers.
What kind of farm?
It was, or still is, my brother is now farming it, soybeans, corn, cattle, and we had pigs for a while.
Awesome. Well, that was absolutely interesting to learn about you. And again, thank you for serving on our board and being so involved. I love that takeaway of get involved in the community and giving back. I think that's something everyone can do a little bit more.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Maureen. And we'll be back soon with more Inside the Chamber.
Thank you.
Inside the Chamber is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Naperville Bank and Trust.
Naperville Bank and Trust has the expertise, knowledge, and experience to help you reach your business goals.
They provide all the tools that you would ask that we as a growing business need of a bank. Most importantly, to me, it's a great personal relationship we have with Tom and John and our bankers.
It was the best thing we could have done in banking. And banking can be very cold. What the bank brings to us is that warm feeling when you come into the bank and people say, hi, Greg.
It's about being part of the community again, about being a name again, about having credit for who your business is instead of just being a number.
Naperville Bank and Trust. Bring it home.
Welcome back to Inside the Chamber. I'm here with Lindsay Ewing, our Director of Programs and Events here at the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce, to tell us about some of our upcoming events.
Hi, Kaylin. Thanks so much. We've got some great events coming up this month. Most notably, we've got Economic Forecast coming up. And that's brought to you by Kaylin Investments. We're actually doing it via Zoom this year, and that's going to be on the 10th of November. We have an amazing panel, as we have in the past years. And, it's around an election year, an election time, so it should be really interesting. And you said you're doing that via Zoom? Yes. We've been doing most of our programming via Zoom or Microsoft Teams. We do have some hybrid programming as well. It really just kind of depends on the format. But we've seen so much success with it. There's just such a convenience factor for everyone. So it's really kind of changed the way that we do things. And how do people find out about the different programs? Well, they can, of course, go to our calendar of events and also follow us on social media. Our marketing director does a fantastic job of promoting everything a handful of times before it comes out, but definitely to our events calendar on our webpage. And then you can see everything that we've got coming up. Awesome. And I noticed that we have a lot of, like you were talking about, of the virtual events, but also some of the hybrid events. I think that's really important that we are giving people the power of choice, right? If you feel comfortable meeting in person, meeting outside in those small groups with the right precautions, masks, 6 feet of distance, totally. And hand sanitizer, I think that's important to give people choice. What are you seeing from the people who are coming to the events? Yeah, so the people that are coming to the events are a lot of people too that have been out a little bit more, maybe some real estate agents or people that have, some in-person meetings. So it's normal to them. It's that semblance of normality that they really are looking for. So yeah, it's been great to be able to provide people the opportunity to do whatever they're comfortable with. And some of the online events, are they professional development, networking? What are the type of events that we are hosting online? Oh, we've got all kinds. One really cool program that we're doing right now, our Small Business Owners Committee, they just launched a series called the Business Owner Success Series, or BOSS for short. So they're creating programming that's really tailored to the professional development for those in small businesses. So they've done some stuff on leadership, strategic planning, marketing plans, just really great relevant content. I would encourage everybody to check those out. They've got some incredible presenters. We also do some multi-chamber power hours. So we partner with local chambers and all the different members get on those. And so sometimes like 10 different chambers. So it really gives our members a chance to engage with new groups of people and further promote their business. And what do you see in the crystal ball that we're all desperately trying to read? What do you see for kind of events as we move into 2021? I think we're probably going to end up doing a lot of what we're currently doing. I think that the hybrid model is working. And I think that if we end up having to shift back to all virtual, we can easily do that. We have become like masters at virtual programming now. So I think, we did State of the City virtually. So if we do have to pivot that way, we're going to make it happen regardless. Awesome. I think it's really important, like you said, that to know that the chamber is going to pivot. We're going to make sure that you're still getting that programming. We're still getting those events, our speakers bureaus, we're still providing all of that information. It just might be in a different format. And sometimes that works for people. You have less commute time and you can wear sweatpants. Don't you? Yep. Who knows what I've got on here. Awesome. Well, thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate it. And like she said, naperville.net, click on our programs and events calendar. We have whatever you're looking for, and we look forward to bringing it to you and helping you move your business forward. Stay with us for more Inside the Chamber.
Inside the Chamber is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Naperville Bank and Trust.
Welcome back. We're here with Kelly Kaisers, our Director of Marketing and Communication, for our Marketing Minute.
Hello, everybody, and I am going to talk to you today about marketing inside the chamber. And to do that best, we're going to cut to our website where all of our advertising opportunities are listed. Let's go. Okay, so we've made it to the NACC website page. Underneath membership, you're going to find all of our advertising opportunities. And I wanted to talk to everybody about that today because it's important to know that we have a lot of great inexpensive opportunities to get your brand or your message or your campaign, your promotion in front of a very engaged audience and the community. With email campaigns, we have a couple options. Our current email banner ads, great opportunity for just brand recognition throughout our monthly e-newsletter. A chambertisement is a popular and very affordable way to reach a large segment of our engaged audience through email. It is an 8.5 by 11 PDF that you can choose to have any message you'd like. We allow you to choose that subject line of that email. And then of course you create the graphic and redirect with a URL. It is a highly effective means for advertising inside the chamber with great click-through rates and great open rates. On our website, you're going to see all kinds of opportunities for website advertising. Again, great opportunity for brand recognition with the opportunity to also redirect to any URL you're looking to get some traction to. We have on our calendar page, our blog pages, our business directory, our career hub. We have a beautiful website leaderboard ad that goes across every single page on our website that is a valuable way to stay engaged with anyone who attends, visits our website. Other ways you can engage through advertising, through the chamber, sponsor a social media post. We think this is a really great, affordable way to get in front of our thousands and thousands of engaged social followers on both Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and even Instagram. This is a custom post that you get to create. You get the copy on the top, and we push it out. And any audience members that you didn't have before, well, maybe you'll just gain some new audience members through this social post. We have a great campaign called Tip Tuesday, also a great social opportunity. You provide the tips, we give you a whole month of space on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And on the programming side, we have some other marketing opportunities. Perhaps you're a thought leader. You can actually do a thought leader blog, which lives on our website, but another way to engage is to actually host a program. So we give you, again, our family of chamber members, you bring the topic to the table. You can choose to do either a 30-minute or 1-hour presentation, and we push that information out through social media, through our calendars, to our chamber members and the community for them to attend. It's a great way to tell your story, promote your brand, and perhaps talk about a special or a campaign that's coming up that's meaningful and valuable. Again, if you're a thought leader in a particular subject matter, great way to engage the chamber and the community into who you are and what you deliver inside Naperville. In addition, we have a virtual business after hours. It's something that every chamber member loves to do. We love to get together, we love to network, we love to connect. This is an opportunity for you to sponsor that, and you get a little bit of a, time at the front. 3 minutes to talk. Your brand, your logo is on our promotions, but most importantly, you get to talk to who is attending that virtual business after hours. And, what we love to do inside that is we do breakout rooms and we do one-on-one interactions. We have fun. Maybe there's a cocktail involved, but it's a great way to have a casual way of getting your brand in front of people and a little bit of time to speak. So when you're thinking about wrapping up your marketing in 2020 or planning ahead in 2021, don't forget to think chamber first for your marketing opportunities.
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Inside the Chamber. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Inside the Chamber is brought to you by presenting sponsor, Naperville Bank and Trust.